think we're good. Yeah, okay, we're going. I don't know what I'm doing.
We're live?
Yeah, we're live. I think. Just make sure. Yeah, we are live. Okay, let me close the door because we're going live in 40 seconds on the radio.
Okay.
We're live on YouTube right now.
Yep. I saw.
Alright.
Jeremy, I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah?
I didn't pick players.
That's fine.
For which one? Do you want to talk about the ball at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. What guest are you on?
Lel.
Okay.
While you do the intro, I'm going to do the Instagram.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Triple Threat Show on WXJM, 88.7 FM, Harrisonburg, Virginia, and WXJM.org. My name is Jeremy Lapidus, joined by perfect timing. Joined, as always, this week by my two friends and co-hosts.
Shane.
And
Hayden.
Shane has just walked in. You can come check us out on YouTube if you would like to. Oh, okay. Never mind. They couldn't hear me for a second. That's fine. Anyway, I forgot to turn off the Gandalf. Anyway, guess what, guys?
What?
This is the Triple Threat Show on WXJM. I gotta do the whole thing again. 88.7 FM, Harrisonburg, Virginia. This is the Triple Threat Show, hosted by me, Jeremy Lapidus, my two friends and co-hosts,
Shane.
And
Hayden Raymer.
thank you so much for listening. You can come and check us out on YouTube at the Triple Threat Show if you want to go and see our beautiful faces. Yeah, I believe the YouTube is called The Triple Threat Show. It's got a really cool logo. I still haven't changed it. I keep meaning to do that. But yeah, we're live. And if you want to catch our show outside of the radio, I believe we will continue to do this over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
We might take a brief hiatus for a week or so, but
No.
I mean, I might not be able to do it. So
I don't care.
yeah, okay.
Shane and I will do it.
All right, yeah, we'll figure it out. Anyway, if you want to see us over the summer, YouTube is the place to be. We will be doing these live streams. Come check us out. Would really appreciate it.
Got a lot of fun over the summer talks to talk about. There's going to be the drafts. Those are going to be fun.
Yeah.
You got the NHL playoffs are still going on.
They are still going on.
So I got all those fun talk. And then height of baseball season too.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Getting to the dog days of summer, you know?
And you got the free agencies. Like there's going to be a lot to talk about.
There's so much going on. You don't want to miss out. And, yeah, before we actually get into the meat and potatoes of our show being, the sports and stuff, happy finals week. Good luck. Congratulations to all the graduating seniors.
Yes, congratulations.
Yeah. Snaps.
Snaps.
Have fun adulting.
Good luck in the real world. We believe in you. But, yeah, congrats. Good luck in finals if you have any left. I know I've got a couple left on Thursday.
I'm actually leaving this show early so I could show up to a final.
Ooh, that's fun.
Oh, yeah.
So, why don't we just get into it then so Shane doesn't miss too much of the fun stuff, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
So we're saving the hockey segment for last, right?
Yep, we're just going to do it without Shane.
We don't need my opinion for
Yeah,
ice
we're just going to
hockey.
talk about
Like, what do I know about
baseball
hockey
and NBA
anyway?
until you get to leave. And then right as you leave, we're going to start about the NHL.
Yeah. All the notes I took, all
Uh-huh.
for nothing.
Psh, you don't take notes.
Notes?
I take more notes for the show than I do for classes, honestly.
We love to hear that. We love to hear the commitment.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, we're going to start with the JMU Sports Report. There's not much news other than, the women's lacrosse team made the playoffs.
That's more snaps.
Yep.
More
Definitely snaps
Their
for that.
seventh straight NCAA bid.
Absolutely. Seventh straight playoffs for them. This is an at-large bid, obviously, because the CAA did the whole thing where we weren't allowed to compete. But they had an incredible season. They will be playing UConn on Friday. So
Very lucky day, Friday the 13th.
yeah. So, they're going to... I think they have a 5-game win streak against UConn right now. They're going to look to extend that. And,
also to continue their current, 10 or 11
they're at
game
10.
win streak?
Their record is 11.
Yeah.
So, they could win the whole thing and put a new record in there,
Love to see it.
I'm not sure if that's counting only regular season wins, though.
I'm pretty sure it's probably only regular
So,
season.
I guess technically it wouldn't count,
Well,
but in our
it's on
hearts.
next
In our
year.
hearts. In our hearts.
In
it
our
would
hearts,
count.
yeah.
Next year.
Next year.
We'll continue it next
No
year.
doubt. Yeah, but year ended, 3 yearly awards given out for the lacrosse team. Isabella Peterson, obviously, Player of the Year. She had an incredible season. She was top 10 all-time goals leader for the entire program. That was before the season ended. I believe she was 8th. I believe she moved up to 6th or something like that. Yep. I haven't double-checked in about a week. Bless you.
Thank you.
Molly Doherty, she won Goalie of the Year, obviously. Incredible goalie. This is her last year here at JMU. Let's send her out with a second title.
Mm-hmm.
And then, last but not least, we had Mari Durkin win Defensive Player of the Year.
It's nice to see that we have a player at like each major position.
That is a clean sweep.
Yeah. You have the best offensive player, the best defensive player, and best goalie. You love the triple threat of that.
That's our show. That's our show name.
I get it.
Guys.
Do we have to end the show now?
Yeah, I guess that's it. All right.
That's it.
Roll credits.
Anyway, that was fun.
Yeah.
No. And then they also had 7 players make the all-conference teams. Of course, the 3 we mentioned, along with 4 others.
Mm-hmm.
So
those were all conference awards, right?
Yes, those were conference awards. Yeah, it's not for the entire.
The other player at the top of my head was, I think her name was Casey Nablock. She was like the playmaker for Isabella the whole season. So shout her out.
All right, yeah. We'll look forward to good things for them. We'll keep you updated there as they make a run for the championship.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I said, not much JMU sports news. That was about it. You know, everything's winding down and stuff. Shane.
Yes.
It's hockey season.
Oh yeah, hockey playoffs have begun.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
Well, they started last week, and now we get to recap what has happened so far. But before you want to get to that, do you want to get to some of the hockey news that has happened lately?
Do your best.
All right.
Do your thing.
So,
your worst.
One thing that's
actually, I want you to be bad right now.
Yeah. I want this to be the worst show we've ever done.
Thanks, I appreciate that. All right, so some bad news for Barry Trotz got fired, the New York Islanders head coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really surprised me.
Yeah, no, it was shocking to me as well.
After you go to the playoffs back-to-back
finals, nonetheless.
Eastern Conference finals. You lose to the Stanley Cup championship team in the semifinals twice in a row. Over one goal game in Game 7, no less.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a year where everyone's injured, everyone has COVID, and you just get off to a bad start and you couldn't surmount it. You would think, all right, just throw that season as a wash and then get ready for next season.
You would think that, yeah. But obviously that's not what the Islanders did. They fired Barry Trotz, who, in my opinion, is a top 3 coach in the NHL.
Yeah.
Probably, arguably the best in the NHL. I don't know enough NHL coaches to say that definitively.
He is definitely.
But I'd probably put him definitely top 3, if I had to.
Top 32.
It's a good one. Yeah, no, I agree. He's no doubt in my mind. No one's gonna argue with you that he's not top 32.
Mm-hmm.
He will definitely find a job.
Yeah. So that leads to the next question: where does he go? Because Barry Trotz won a cup with the Caps, was extremely successful with the Predators, brought him to the Stanley Cup Finals a couple times. I think it was only once.
He didn't take the Predators to the Stanley Cup Final, but the Predators were not a great team, but he kept on making them a playoff team despite the lackluster roster.
He's very successful everywhere he goes. I think this is like his first bad season, and that's not on him. But they fired him, and that leads, where is he going?
Yep.
So where is he going?
I think the 2 biggest candidates right now are the Winnipeg Jets and the Philadelphia Flyers. Philadelphia, just because they still think they're a playoff team, even though I don't think so. And if his family has an impact in the decision, I don't know if they want to move that far away from New York. So Philadelphia is closer to New York than, let's say, like Winnipeg.
Is Winnipeg that far from New York? I thought that was on
Winnipeg
Eastern Canada.
it's like in the middle of.
I thought Winnipeg was Eastern Canada.
Well, we can Google that.
I don't know too much about.
I thought it was in Saskatchewan. I thought Winnipeg was in Saskatchewan.
I could not tell you. Whenever I picture Winnipeg, I think it like.
I think it's in Canada.
It's
in Manitoba, so that's kind of more central Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no, but I agree. I think he's going to the Jets. We had a conversation.
The Jets would be the best fit, in my opinion.
We had a conversation about the Jets before Barry Trotz was fired. I don't know if you remember, Shane.
I remember it.
Basically, you were talking about the Jets and how their culture is an issue, and how they have the talent but the culture isn't there. And you were saying, I don't know what they do. Do they run it back? Do they blow it up? If they bring a coach in, that'll do it. Barry Trotz is that coach.
Yeah, he's that coach.
Barry Trotz is a coach that can absolutely come in and fix that culture like that. Like you were saying, Winnipeg is already a team that is built to compete.
Yeah.
They have the goalie, they have the defense. They probably need a little more scoring. But
well, I would say no. Their offense is definitely. They have a very talented top six. Defense is they're kind of weak on the defensive core, but their offense just underperformed the season despite the talent they have on paper. It's like one of those names, great roster on paper. They just couldn't get it together. I'm assuming because of those cultural issues. One of the veterans on the team called out the team for everyone focusing more on their individual statistics than how the team was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So get a guy like Barry Trotz in there, and you get a good defensive scheme like he's done in the past with one of the best goalies in the league when he's on it. This team could easily rebound and make playoffs next year.
And that's not to say that 99% of the teams in the NHL wouldn't be ecstatic to get a guy like Barry Trotz behind the bench, because if the Caps want him back, I don't. Yeah, get rid of Mr. Laviolette. He doesn't need to be here. I'm not even sure if he's a good coach or not. We were talking about that too. I'm not convinced, but I'm convinced about Barry Trotz. So I think 99% of the teams would be psyched to have him.
Yeah. So he definitely has his pick of the litter of like he has probably his jobs lined up already. Like he could go anywhere he wants at this
I'm
point.
a little surprised he hasn't been hired yet, honestly.
Well, because I think Florida still has an interim head coach.
Yes.
So depending, like if Florida loses in the first round,
Florida's interim coach also won 51 games this season.
But how much of that is how loaded the team was compared to what he's done as the head coach position?
I couldn't tell you, but what I can tell you is 51 games is a lot of games to win.
But if your team loses in the first round and you have this veteran head coach who's won it before and's been on several deep playoff runs versus a first-year head coach, who are you taking? The veteran or... But again, we have to see what Florida does in the playoffs. There's still a long series left.
It depends what Florida does. If they lose first round, then...
I think Barry Trotz definitely could be a serious candidate for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
You guys mentioned culture.
Yeah.
Right? You know what team has terrible culture?
Who? Chicago Blackhawks?
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about him going to the Blackhawks
on
the broadcast last night.
I would not go anywhere near Chicago.
I know you wouldn't.
Yeah.
I know
But
you wouldn't.
I'm very biased, yeah.
I mean, you fix a whole team.
Like, it wouldn't surprise me because you still have Kane and Taze, but I think they're going more for a rebuild direction. Barry Trotz is more of
you would have thought they'd be going for a rebuild, but what they did this offseason doesn't say that.
Again, who knows what management's trying to do? I thought the management for Chicago is trying to go more along the lines of rebuilding. I know Kane has been on trade block rumors.
The management just completely just fell apart.
Yeah.
The entire front office got
So
gutted.
that management was still trying to contend, and now that they're all gone, I have no idea what this new management's trying to do. I think they're more closer to a rebuild. I think Trotz I'm pretty sure he still wants to win and wants to go to a contender.
Yeah, who wouldn't want to win?
Yeah.
Winning is more fun than losing.
Yeah.
So, I doubt he wants to... one other option is that I heard Vancouver's not completely sold on Bruce Boudreau.
Why?
I can't tell you why, but I heard...
They just hired him this season. He completely revitalized that team, brought them to the brink of the playoffs.
Yeah.
When they were nowhere near it at the beginning of the year.
But it was like a 1-year contract.
I know, but
I mean, so maybe
when you got something that works, why break it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not like it's a very question. Like, would you rather have Bruce Boudreau or would you rather have Barry Trotz?
I'd rather have Barry Trotz, but what Bruce Boudreau did this season.
And he didn't even have a full season, right?
No, he came in closer to the beginning, but still not at the beginning.
I would say about halfway-ish.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
maybe
around
30 games in.
Around halfway.
Give him a full year with them.
Yeah, why not?
That's what Vancouver. I've heard from.
He's got sources inside the Vancouver Canucks building.
I don't have sources. I know of people who have sources.
It's basically sources.
Yeah. So that's what I've heard from.
So he's one of the Ducks. I think we can all agree. Quack quack baby.
Dallas would have to fire their head coach.
I mean, they've done it before.
Yeah, they have.
They did it just a few months ago.
Yeah, it's hard to find a team that hasn't fired a head coach these days.
I think Dallas Eakins has been the head coach for a while.
For who?
For the Ducks.
For the Ducks.
Didn't they fire their coach this season?
They fired their GM.
They fired their GM because of allegations.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if it was the GM or the coach who got fired.
I'll do it.
Well, speaking of the Florida Panthers, the Caps and Florida Panthers are competing against each other in the playoffs.
Segue.
I got what he was going for there. I didn't remember speaking of the Florida Panthers, but speaking of them, they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They had a nice OT winner. That was a really good game to watch.
Tied up the series.
Yeah, tied up the series.
They're really holding their own against the President's Trophy winning team.
President's Trophy doesn't mean anything.
I don't even know what the President's Trophy is.
Best team in the regular season.
Most points.
Yeah, best team in the regular season. So I'm surprised how well they're keeping up with Florida. Like, their playoff experience and their veteran leadership is, like, really showing here. And you can kind of see how inexperienced Florida's been in the playoffs because they just seem flustered and easily frustrated.
You know, I can't remember the last time a President's Trophy winner made it out of the first round.
That is a very... Who won it last year?
Colorado.
Mm-hmm. They made it past the first round.
They did make it past the first round.
Yeah.
Made it past the second round.
I mean, the President's Trophy winners haven't won a cup recently. The most recent one to do that was the Chicago Blackhawks. I think it was in the shortened season in 2014.
They didn't win a cup in 2014.
It was because it was Chicago in 2010, Boston 2011, Kings in 2012.
I don't know.
Or was it 2013?
That just seems too recent for the Blackhawks to be winning anything.
No, I think the Blackhawks, it was 2015, 2013, 2010.
Ago, like,
I think that's what
order
it was, and then Kings were in between those. But yeah, the last President's Trophy winning team was the Chicago Blackhawks in one of their Stanley Cups.
No, because the Caps, they won the President's Trophy a couple times, and that didn't help them.
Yeah.
Obviously,
then they didn't win it in
the Lightning, you know what happened there. They got swept. The President's Trophy is more of a curse than anything. Not to say I thought the Caps were going to win this series because
even be this close.
Because I did not.
Yeah.
Especially with Tom Wilson out, that's not something.
But one of their biggest question marks turned out to be one of their greatest assets so far, goaltending. Samsonov has looked good so far.
He has looked good.
Yep.
But the thing is, they were like, Vitek's the dude. And then he won a game, and then he got, destroyed the next game. And then they were like, all right, we're done with him. And then they won a game with Samsonov, and then they lost, but Samsonov played very well. He's not getting replaced by Vitek. But, again, it's just...
They're playing the hot hand.
Yeah, they're playing the hot hand, and I know you were talking about it. I know I brought this up before, but it's just... I know the concept of tandem goalies are newer.
Yeah.
But there's always just that one goalie. That seems to be the thing. There's the one goalie in the playoffs that's like, this is the reason that they survived XXX,
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know, when you're switching out like that, it takes away consistency, I guess. I don't know. I've never played goalie, but I feel like getting those reps and that consistency facing these shots is something that's really important.
It's tandem goaltending has been especially, and I haven't seen a playoff run with two younger goalies either. So this is a very unique situation the Caps are in. I've never seen a playoff run where a team relies on two young goalies to be the tandem. And it's interesting. We'll see how it turns out. Again, I'm not going into any game. Like, they can have I wouldn't be surprised if... I would be more surprised of them having a really good game than a really bad game.
Right.
So, it's just such a tricky situation, like, trusting that goaltending. Because you don't know what you're going to get any given night.
I mean, that and the Panthers have, like, all the momentum right now. You know, OT
winners.
Going back at home.
Stealing a lot of momentum there.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, there's a lot of Game 5s going on right now.
Yeah, I think all of them. Except for one.
Yeah, except for they swept by... Nashville getting swept. But it's just like these are very important games right now. Like the winners of Game 5 go on to win the series 80% of the time.
Winners of Game 3 go on to win the series 60% of the time.
The winners of Game 7 go on to win
100% of the time. So these are some very important games.
Just saying, it's 20% jump every time.
Yeah. Game 1's what, 40% then?
Probably.
By that logic?
Yeah, by that logic. I didn't see any stats about it, but
I don't know.
it sounds about right.
Yeah.
Maybe even more. Maybe like 50%.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm no statistician.
Statistician?
Sure.
Let's go with
isn't
that.
that what I said?
Mm-hmm.
Close enough.
I mean, it's the same word.
Not the same way to say it, though.
I mean, it's tomato, except no one says tomato.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you think the Caps, do you have any shot that they're coming back in this series and upsetting the Florida Panthers?
I've always got some hope. I'm a Caps fan. I've always got that little bit of hope in me that's like, they're the team. They're the team. They're gonna do it. No. No, I do not think so.
No.
I do not think so, but I would love it. It'd be so much fun. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Actually.
We either get our favorite team to win or our predictions are right.
I don't care about my predictions that much, honestly. It's cool if they're right, but I'd rather have my team win.
Yeah.
I'm right enough.
What's cool to see is that the Capitals had an underrated penalty kill at the end of the season, and it kind of came through in the game last night, where they killed off so many Florida power plays.
There's just been a lot of penalties in the NHL.
Yeah.
The playoffs. Like, I feel like every time I look away, there's a new penalty. And I don't know if you've noticed that, because I don't watch that much regular season hockey, because playoff hockey is a different animal.
Yeah.
And it's so much more fun to watch.
There's so many fines, too. Everyone's getting fined for little infractions and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I feel like there's been so many penalties, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. They're just calling it close, I guess.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like I've seen more 5-on-4, 4-on-4, 5-on-3 hockey than I have 5-on-5 hockey this playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which is really, I love power plays, but it's kind of...
Each team is getting 5 a game.
Yeah.
That's too much.
But it's kind of like, you don't really get to see the depth of the lineup, like, come through most of the time, because when you're on the power play, you're rolling your first and second units out. You don't see the third, fourth line guys. And you kind of miss those opportunities where the no-name hero comes out of nowhere and scores a clutch goal.
Right.
And one of the most unexpected heroes of the playoffs so far is the third-string goalie of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Louis Domingue.
Yeah, that's...
Team of Destiny.
Yeah.
It's the most surprising thing
One of
to
our
me.
biggest concerns for Pittsburgh was their goaltending. Tristan Jarry was hurt, and I believe it was Game 1?
It's Game 1,
where
second overtime.
Casey DeSmith gets
it was a core injury.
Yeah.
But looked like he got hit in the face with a puck, but obviously that wasn't what took him out of the game there. He's getting core surgery.
Yeah. And Louis Domingue has just looked solid. They're up 3-1 in the series. Pittsburgh's looking good. And then the Rangers, we were harping their goaltending for being... They have probably the goaltender of the year, but hasn't looked good this playoff so far.
Yeah, no. And the one thing that I forgot to take into account when I made my predictions was playoff experience is super important.
Yeah.
And the Rangers have none of it.
Yeah.
They have maybe 20 playoff games going in on their entire roster total going into this series.
I'm just trying to think. So
they have Panarin.
Panarin hasn't gone far at all.
But he's been to the playoffs a bunch.
Yeah, but the farthest he's ever got
Is,
was the second round once with Columbus.
Right, but he's still been to there a bunch. They don't have that many playoff games on their roster.
Zibanejad, he went to the semifinals. No, he was traded before that. I was going to say when Ottawa went on that run, he was traded before that. Jacob Trouba, he was on the Jets when they made their run. Yeah, just point is, not a lot of playoff experience.
Right, and then the Penguins on the other side, they've multiple people who have won multiple Stanley Cups.
Crosby, Malkin, Letang. Yeah.
And, on top of that, you got Sidney Crosby, who's the best player on the ice. I overlooked the experience part, which is playing a major factor. Also, the Rangers did a thing where they pulled Shesterkin in game game 3, when they were still in the game.
I thought they were down by 3 at that point.
No, they were down by 2. But they were still in the game. And then they just pulled him because they wanted to light a spark under their team. It didn't end up working. But, that's one of those things. Experience. I don't know how much experience that coaching staff has in the playoffs in situations like
Gerard Gallant, he was the coach that took the Vegas Golden Knights to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Okay, so he's got some experience.
Yeah.
When did he get fired? Was it last season?
So I think he was so after Vegas got off to a rough start at some point. He got fired halfway through the season. And then he took a few seasons off and then got rehired by the Rangers.
Okay. So never mind then. Anyway, yeah, that's just the biggest surprise of the playoffs, I think. The Penguins being the Penguins, which I guess in hindsight isn't very surprising, but it's super surprising, especially with their goaltending situation.
I mean, storyline, if they go on a deep run, again, this is possibly the last season where you will see Crosby, Malkin, Letang on the same team, possibly. Like Hayden said, Team of Destiny.
Team of Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
These old vets are not done yet. Any other series that have caught your eye? Or
I want to talk about the Stars playing the Flames, because that series has been so much fun to watch. I talked about it a little bit on our last show. The goalie play in that series is so much fun.
Yeah. Jake Ottinger.
It's like a pitcher's duel.
Mm-hmm.
I love those games in baseball. I love those games. I love it when goalies are just showing out. It's my favorite thing. Jake Ottinger faced so many shots. There was a period of time. I was watching the game last night. There was a shift where everyone on the Stars team, they couldn't clear it from the zone. They had everyone on the ice had been out there for 3 minutes.
That is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Yeah, both of their defensemen were out there for 3 minutes and 45 seconds. And
that's a brutal shift. As someone who's played hockey before, that is, your legs are just done. You're
and their wingers were out there for 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes. I think the guy who had the least amount of time had 2:45, which is ridiculous.
You're pretty much having a man advantage at that point. It looks like a power play.
And it drew a penalty after that, and that was basically their first line that was out there for that entire time. So not only did they not get that much rest after they drew the penalty, but they had to go right back out there and get on the attack. But they didn't give up a goal there. It's one of those. It's crazy. Jake Ottinger balled out last night.
Yeah, Jake Ottinger. He's a young goalie. He's got such a bright future ahead of him if he keeps up this play.
They didn't win the game. They didn't deserve to win the game.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun to watch. That's a really fun series. Yeah. They match up well against each other. And that leads into there was a Vezina.
Yeah.
So
a few awards have been announced.
Do you want to talk about a series?
No.
Okay.
So yeah, best defenseman and best goalie awards were announced. Let's get to the goaltending first off, that this is going to be an easier discussion. So the final nominees were Igor Shesterkin of the New York Rangers, UC Saros of the Nashville Predators, and Jacob Markstrom of the Calgary Flames.
Yeah.
But I was really surprised Frederick Anderson didn't get a nomination.
Really?
For the Carolina Hurricanes?
I feel like that was right.
Well, it's just he had I'm not saying discrediting any of the other goalies on the list. They have their right to be there, but Frederick Anderson, he won the William Jennings Award. Least amount of goals against, but that's more of a team award. But still, if another goalie's there, is Frederick Anderson, if our Carolina Hurricanes still winning the least goals against in the league?
I don't know. Depends who they have there.
Yeah. And he was up there on all advanced analytics categories, like wins above replacement and goals saved above expected. He's up there for all those categories. So I was really surprised not to see him in that.
Yeah. I mean, I thought they got it right. Just thinking of 3 goalies off the top of my head that I would have put up there.
Yeah. So
sounds about right to me.
Jacob Markstrom had the most shutouts this year. UC Saros most games played amongst all goaltenders and still putting up that .918 save percentage, helping Nashville get to the playoffs. And then, of course, your probable winner in Igor Shesterkin.
Yeah.
So I think Igor, this is his award to lose.
You can't lose it. They don't take playoffs into account.
Yeah. And he had the best save percentage in the league by over, 10 points. 10%.
Yeah.
He was the only goalie to have a save percentage in the 930s, which is ridiculous. That's almost Carey Price-esque save percentage numbers. He also had the highest goal save above expected and highest wins above replacement. So wins above replacement is pretty much, if you replace him with an average player, I might not explain that right.
No, you got it.
I don't know if it's different in hockey.
It's the same.
Usually,
it's the same.
Usually it's if you call up a guy from AHL.
Yeah.
That's like a replacement level player, like because he's replacing somebody. So it's how many wins are you better than that guy?
Yeah. So according to wins above replacement, Igor Shesterkin is 5.5 wins, so probably 6 wins.
5.5.
Yeah.
5.5.
Better than you're at. He's led all goalies in that category. It's just ridiculous season by him.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I trust War.
I do too.
Yeah.
It's a good stat.
It's a good stat.
I like it a lot.
It is really good. I mean, I don't know all the little numbers into it, how to calculate it in hockey, but if it's anything like baseball, it's pretty trustworthy.
Yeah.
They've got War for everything.
Do they?
Yeah.
Especially for goaltending, it's probably the easiest one to look at for hockey. And then the Best Defenseman Award is a little bit more divisive. You have the finalists are Victor Hedman, Roman Josi, and Kale Mccarr for your Best Defenseman of the Year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. These are all offensive dudes.
Well, Victor Hedman
he can shoot.
Yeah, he's very good offensive defenseman, but he also has a really good two-way game. But this is a very good list. I wouldn't be surprised if anybody won this award, but since they like to spread the wealth, I think it's either going to go to Mccarr or Josi. Because I think Hedman's already won it multiple times. Yosi's won it before. Mccarr still doesn't have one. But I think it's either Josi or Mccarr who gets this award.
Did Hedman have the best year, though, in your opinion?
Not really.
Okay.
If you're talking about best defenseman in the league, I think Victor Hedman comes short from the other two.
Okay. I wasn't, it's the way you were saying it was he had the best year, but because he keeps winning it and, there's, it's not bias, it's voter fatigue.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was a case of that, but
I think that's definitely going to be a factor for Victor Hedman, though.
Okay.
You just can't help it. He's been nominated for the past 4 or 5 times.
Good for him.
Yeah, and he's already won it a couple times. So, but Roman Josi, though, one of the most impressive stats. He's the first defenseman to have a 90-point season since 1994.
That was just the other day.
Exactly. So we were alive by then, right?
Yeah, no,
I was.
Cool.
So that stat on its own is just ridiculous, just to show how good of an offensive defenseman he is.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kale Mccarr, I love this kid just because he's such a fun player to watch. He's so young and so talented. He can do everything right. Second in defenseman points. He led defenseman in goals, but he also was second in plus-minus in the league. He had the fewest turnovers compared to the other two. He had the least amount of penalties compared to Victor Hedman and Roman Josi, and he had the most hits compared. So, relatively speaking with the other defensemen, I think if we're talking about all-around defensemen, I think Mccarr just had the better season.
I agree.
If I had to pick, I think Kale Mccarr is my Norris winning defenseman.
Yeah, I give it to Mccarr.
I trust you guys.
It was his award to lose at the beginning of the season, and he didn't really do much to lose it.
Yeah.
So,
It's Josi. If Josi wins it, I'm not surprised. Offensively, it's just ridiculous season. Mm-hmm. But I think if we're looking at all around best defenseman, I would Kale Mccarr winning the award, no question.
All right.
And I think that's all for hockey, unless you want to bring up something else with the playoffs, any series you want to talk about, or you want to go back on anything?
Not really. I think we got it.
All right.
Let's do some basketball.
Congrats to the Avalanche.
Yeah. They moved on, swept the Nashville Predators.
Yeah, Mccarr, huge influence on that series. He had a game-winning, was it double overtime goal?
I don't know.
He had an overtime game winner, tons of points in the series. He had a really good showing in that series.
He did. Yes, he had a very good showing. But let's talk some basketball. There's some more playoffs going on.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the second round of their playoffs. We got some really good series.
Mm-hmm.
Some series that are really fun to watch. There's been some controversy around a couple of these. I'm going to start off with the Grizzlies versus the Warriors. That one has been filled with a lot of different drama.
Mm-hmm.
Drama involving players being injured intentionally, not intentionally, flagrant fouls being given out, suspensions, and obviously injuries have played a big part in this. How much do you guys know about this? About everything that's going on surrounding this series?
I know
Morant just got injured.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do a little rundown then.
Yeah.
Okay. Starts game one. Starts real chippy. Second quarter, we talked about it last week. Draymond Green, flagrant foul.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that was a flagrant foul. The Grizzlies didn't like that. You don't want to hurt somebody.
You don't want to poke the bear.
No, you don't. You don't want to poke the bear.
Get it? Because
The Grizzlies.
Game two, intentional or not, flagrant foul was given out to I think Dylan Brooks on the Grizzlies because there was a hard foul. Gary Payton II was on a breakaway, went for a layup. Sorry, and Dylan Brooks tried to block the shot, fouled him pretty hard instead. Ended up breaking his elbow on the fall.
Oh.
So he got a flagrant one, was suspended for a game. There was some controversy around that because it wasn't the foul that hurt him. It was the fall, which was caused by the foul, but at the same time, it wasn't really like he did that on purpose.
Yeah, it's not like he just went up to him with a hammer and
Yeah.
broke his elbow.
So that was the next thing. Game 3. That was another one. John Morant, you mentioned it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
A little ways into the game, I don't remember when. I think it was the third quarter, I believe. John Morant gets injured on a play where he's being double teamed, and they're trying to steal the ball from him, because basketball. And then Jordan Poole, swiping for the ball, accidentally grabs John Morant's knee. Now, after the game, John Morant goes on. He's hurt. This is the play he gets hurt on. He has a knee injury, forces him out for Game 4. On this play, after the game, John Morant goes on to Twitter, and he posts, "Broke the code." That's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's referring to the injury, basically saying, "Hey, yo, Jordan Poole, you did this on purpose."
Oh, I love it.
And this kind of thing, obviously, it didn't seem like it was on purpose. There's no reason to think that it was on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things that it builds and builds and it builds.
Those first two games.
Those first two games, it got real chippy there. Game 4 went down without something major happening, but it's one of those things where it could boil over at any moment. Ja probably will be back Game 5. They're down 3-1 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna need him. They played a tough game, but there's just so much going on off the court. You don't want things to get worse. You don't want things to escalate. That's the last thing you want. The last thing you want is more people to get hurt. Because there's been more than enough injuries in this series. What are your thoughts on this?
I just think it's hilarious that he went to Twitter and just called this guy out for saying, "Hey, he did it on purpose." That is just so funny to me. But isn't that relatively common in the NBA, or
To do what?
on like players being overly honest on Twitter or something?
I mean, players are active on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's like that in every sport.
I think NBA.
But it's just
though,
like
it's
stuff
more
like this. It's more dramatic.
Right,
than-
there's less players, they're higher profile.
Yeah.
In a lot of other sports, you wear stuff that cover your face. In hockey, you wear
Well, and the players are just not as dramatic
right.
as
NFL, you
NBA
wear
players.
you wear a helmet covers your face.
They're pretty dramatic. start fighting each other
Yeah,
on
they're-
the ice.
Yeah, but like
almost every game.
social media wise.
Well, that's
you
just.
don't see it
I
in
think they're
hockey.
less active on social media. I don't think that's anything but dramatic.
And then I know baseball's its own thing. They don't. They've got their own thing going on.
Baseball is baseball.
Baseball's baseball. But you know, basketball and football, they're more. They're those athletes are more social.
Yeah.
You know, but in basketball, there's first of all there's less people, so the stars are bigger.
Mm-hmm.
That's not exactly true, but there's more stars that are like household names.
Yeah.
And you can see their face. You know,
Mhm.
in football they're wearing the helmets, and you know, you have to be like a certain level to be like, ooh, that's the dude.
Yeah, like no one knows the center of whatever team.
But you know, John Moran is one of those guys. He's super fun to watch. Obviously, he's super flashy, and you know, he's probably a top 10 He's definitely a top 10 player in the NBA right now. And it's just one of those things. It's not.
It just sucks.
It does suck, but
it's just he's emotional, he's injured, and he's just kind of looking for something to blame.
have you ever heard of a code in basketball?
No.
Because there's a code in hockey. You know, there's these unwritten rules in hockey. You know, you do something, you get fought for it. Done.
Oh yeah, like if you like big hit on your team's best player, you're fighting
Yeah.
afterwards. Yeah.
There's obviously code in baseball.
Yeah.
That's like half of the rules in baseball is
Are the
unwritten.
unwritten ones.
Yeah. But I've never heard about something like that in basketball. It's, now, I don't know. Maybe it was just something that was very well hidden. There's a couple things. You know, if the clock's running down, don't shoot to get more points. You know, don't do that. But that's just an etiquette thing. I don't know. I hadn't heard much about a code in basketball. And obviously there's stuff in every sport.
Yeah.
He got his knee accidentally. He didn't mean to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think this wouldn't have been as big of a deal if whatever had happened
in
the first two games hadn't happened.
Yeah, for sure.
They'd reached a boiling point there.
Yeah.
And obviously nothing else is going to come of it, but
I just think it's just an angry, frustrated athlete on social media. You just get emotional and you're just going to put something out there.
Yeah.
Because, like, I know when my twin brother got injured, like, it was a complete accident. Like, it was a horrible injury. Like, the player didn't intend to, like, he just fell awkwardly. The other player didn't intend for him to have an injury that badly. And, but my brother was pissed about it for a while.
mm-hmm.
So it's just, when you have that status on social media, like, it's what's going to happen.
Right. Yeah. So that's the big thing happening in that series. I just wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on that.
Wrap them in bubble wrap. Nobody else gets hurt.
Put him in one of those big bubble things that they have like for the.
How
for
are they
the
going to
birthday.
shoot Jeremy?
Yeah.
They don't. They're going to run into the ball and they're going to jump at it with their heads.
Is this Air Bud?
No. Basketball.
Air Bud is basketball.
That's a dog.
Maybe
Basketball
throw them.
movie.
Maybe to prevent these injuries,
best
they should put
basketball
on
movie.
some like hockey elbow pads. See, that would have prevented the broken elbow.
I don't know if it would.
Bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap.
Oh yeah, wrap them in bubble wrap. That would help solve it too.
It's,
Then the other series that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Celtics versus Bucks. This series has been just as chippy as the other
Yeah.
one, except there hasn't been all the off the court stuff.
Yeah.
The big drama coming out of this one is with the refs. In a series as tight as this, the refs
Yeah.
are more important than ever.
They're a bigger factor than ever.
Right.
When teams are this close.
They give out free throws.
mm-hmm.
Free throws are free points. You know.
They are. It's in the name.
Yeah, it is in the name. You got to make and in general, not 100% of the time, but in general, the team with the free throw edge tends to win the game. And there's a lot of things here. There's a lot of things that there's a lot of weird calls. Game 3, for instance, the Celtics were very angry. They were down 3 with the ball with like 5 seconds left, and Marcus Smart goes up, takes a shot, is fouled. The refs rule that he was fouled before the shot, and he only gets 2 free throws instead of 3 because it was a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
So he gets 2, makes the first one, and you have to do it. You gotta chuck it against the rim, get your rebound, put up a shot. It didn't go in time, and they lost that game. Both teams in that game were complaining about the refs. It's a very physical series, and basketball is the type of game where there's a lot of judgment calls, especially with the contact. You have to find a limit. It's fine to call things differently, but you have to call it evenly for both teams. And I feel like the refs have, honestly, for all the hate they've been getting in this series, I think they've generally called it pretty evenly for both teams.
Yeah.
It's not to say that they're making perfect calls all the time, because they're not.
Yeah, refs are never perfect.
They're making a lot of mistakes out there.
It's a very hard job.
Basketball is a hard game to ref. It's so fast moving. The refs are also constantly running up and down the floor. They might miss something. It's a very hard game to ref.
It's very hard. Like, for professional sports, like, the refs don't get enough. They will never get enough respect for how difficult their job is.
And, that's fine. I'm never going to be like, oh my god, I love the refs. The refs are my favorite team. I'm never going to do that.
And it's like, if you're in that position, like, all that pressure on you, would you even make the right call at that point?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I've been a basketball ref before. I swallowed the whistle.
Wait, what?
It's a saying.
Oh, you don't blow
the whistle?
Blow it, yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna blow something, and then I was like, and I didn't blow the whistle because I was like, I'm a little nervous to blow the whistle here. I don't want them to be mad at me. Anyway, that was a long time ago. It wasn't that long ago.
Yesterday.
It wasn't yesterday. It was like 2 years ago. Anyway, not important.
Yeah. It's a really fun series to watch, though.
It is. It's a very tight series. If Chris Middleton ever comes back, I think the Bucks win it. Otherwise, I don't really know. So.
Best player in the league.
Okay.
It's as a non-basketball fan, that's like my favorite series to watch so far, just because I like the physicality of it. Just seeing like Giannis just truck over a guy. It's funny to watch.
It's very fun. Giannis is so good at basketball.
Oh yeah.
It's unfair. It is unfair.
It is unfair.
I really hope that series goes to Game 7.
I do too.
Probably will.
Most likely.
It's what time now?
Yeah, 2s. Game 5 is Thursday. No, it's Wednesday.
I was going to say tomorrow, but...
Yeah. Yeah, it's Wednesday. Anyway, Jokic won MVP.
Yep.
We've had a couple conversations on this show about who should win MVP.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good choice? Bad choice? What do y'all think?
I mean, I'm alright with it. I know it's good to see that voter fatigue didn't get to it, and that the more deserving player, I think, should have got the award.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't the runner-up Embiid?
I don't know who the runner-up was. It probably was Embiid.
Yeah.
That was the big argument right there. But there were also people saying the MVP should go to the best player on the best team, which I hate that argument.
That's a dumb argument.
That's the dumbest argument, which in that case it'd go to Devin Booker. Which, no. First of all, the best player in the world is Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd give it to him before I give it to Booker.
Mm-hmm.
You don't give the MVP to the best player on the best team.
Kyle Kuzma.
You don't, in any sport, honestly.
No.
I'm sure that's an argument in a lot of sports, because it's one of those things. People treat the MVP as a team award, and it isn't really.
No.
There's elements of it that can be if you look at it a certain way, but it's not a team award.
So do you just look at it as just best player in the league as MVP, or
yeah, because
most
most valuable player is the best
yes,
player.
that's what you look at. There's obviously a lot of different criteria here. You have to not only be the best player in the league, but you have to show that you're, if you have won it the year before, you have to show that you're still improving. It's one of those things.
That's
a basketball.
The voter fatigue thing.
Yeah, that's voter fatigue, and that happens in every
it's kind
single.
of like relative to like how else everyone else has done too.
Yes, and that's part of it. The MVP should go to the best player in the league, hands down.
Right.
And there's a lot of different metrics to look at the best player in the league. That's why there's always an argument behind it.
Yeah.
It's not always cut and dry. This dude is the best, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it is, and that makes it easy, and sometimes it's not. And especially in a close race, I am a little surprised that Jokic won.
No, for sure.
He deserved it, but he also won last year. And in an MVP race as close as this one, voter fatigue is something that can play a major factor.
Yeah, I feel like out of all the big four sports, I think
Basketball suffers the most from it, yeah.
voter fatigue, yeah.
You know, obviously LeBron was the best player in the league for however long, like 20 years, you know? He didn't win the league, win the MVP every year, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He won it twice in a row and then didn't get it for a long time, and then he won it twice in a row again. I'm sure he won it a couple times in between there, but, you know.
Like, I'm seeing that a lot in ice hockey now, where it just seems like they're just trying to spread the wealth at this point. Because I think there was one season where, like, Brent Burns won it as the best defenseman, and he's pretty much just, he was only good for offense. Like, he wasn't a good defenseman, he was just good at just being, like, a fourth forward out there, kind of. And I'm just like, I didn't think he deserved to win the award that year, but I think they just gave it to him, honestly, just to, like, give someone else new the award.
That happens. It happens sometimes. I don't think Jokic is going to win another MVP ever.
Yeah.
He's won 2 in a row. First of all, that's super hard to do. At this point, with the amount of uproar, not saying it was a little bit controversial. You know, there's a reason there's a conversation behind this.
Mm-hmm.
If it was just unanimous, easy, there wouldn't be this much conversation behind it. It's one of those things. He's won it twice in a row. He's probably never going to get it again. Even if he deserves it, he probably won't. Unless
You never know, Jeremy.
You never know. You're right. You do never know. But it's going to be one of those things that people are like, oh, this was his year. He doesn't deserve it again. You know?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's kind of I know we're going back to ice hockey, but it's reminded me a lot of Connor McDavid. Because Connor McDavid, I believe he already has, like, 2 MVPs, 2 Hart trophies. He got it when he was, like, what, 20 and 21? Which is, and he led the league in points again this year, like he normally does. But I think he's going to get discredited for the Hart Trophy because he's already won it multiple times and Matthews doesn't have one, and he put up a 60-point season. But I think that doesn't devalue how good of a season McDavid had again, just because he always has a great season.
Right.
Like, you're not going to find another better offensive producer than Connor McDavid, but since he does it so regularly, it's often going to get overlooked, and voter fatigue is going to be a huge effect on him later in his career.
That's one of the things you have to deal with. You know? That's just how the press be sometimes.
Yeah.
So, like, do you know how voting works for some of the awards? Because I know the NHL has the most outstanding player, where it's voted by the players. Like, is there any awards similar to that in the NBA or baseball or the NFL?
They have something in the NFL. It's not an official thing.
They have, like, I don't know in the NBA, but it's probably, like, the NBAPA probably does some sort of awards.
Yeah,
like that.
it's
Most
not,
of them do.
In the NFL, they do something. It's not like an actual award. They'll just poll a bunch of players, and they'll be like, yo, who do you think deserves the MVP? Who deserves Offensive Player of the Year? Who deserves Defensive Player of the Year? And that'll be the player awards. It won't actually count for anything, but it'll be like your peers think you deserve this award. And that's something you can put your ego on.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to put that in your trophy case, but you can put your ego on that one.
Okay.
I think hockey's the only one that actually has physical awards.
Like a major
for
award for that.
I'm sure basketball does. I don't know. I haven't heard.
Every PA.
I would be shocked if they didn't. But they do. I mean, the players, it's not an official thing.
Yeah. Because I know the MVP is voted on by, like, the press.
Yeah.
And then the most outstanding player is voted by the players.
Okay.
So I just think it's interesting you have, like, those perspectives of, like, you have the people who watch and the people who play against the opposition.
A
And
lot
they
of
say,
times-
hey, this is the guy.
A lot of times it ends up being the same person.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of the times they get it right. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. So it's just.
If I was a player,
Yeah.
I would always just vote for myself.
You can't vote for yourself.
Why not?
You can't.
Why not?
I don't
Says
know.
who?
It's probably like honor code or something.
Yeah. That's definitely an honor code thing.
I mean, what if I'm the best player? or if I'm like still up there. Like,
You don't go in and be like, it's me.
it's me.
I would love the confidence for anybody who does. Like, if I'm LeBron James, I'm like, yeah, I think I should win MVP. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's done. Like, just because he was dominant for that long.
I'm sure he thinks it, but I don't think he'd put it in his vote.
I think he would.
Especially for something that doesn't actually count.
Yeah, no. I would just be like a bottom 6 forward. Like, it's me.
Yeah, for some reason Hayden Raymer got a vote. Not sure who did that.
It was my mom, sorry. I let her fill out my ballot.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You know. Do you have any fancy NBA stuff you guys wanted to cover?
No. Just enjoyed watching the series.
They've been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
All the series are not... Oh, actually, I wanted to cover something real quick. All the series are knotted up at 2 again. Except for one. The
Golden State
series, yeah. 2 teams have come back from 2-0 deficits, the Mavs and the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
The Sixers over here.
Yeah.
They get Joel Embiid back.
Yeah.
He plays
runner-up. Apparently.
Lights out.
Yeah.
He plays so good. And he carries the Sixers to wins in Game 3 and 4. Who wins that series now? It's resetting. It's a best of 3 now. Who wins the series?
Shane, do you want to go first?
I'm going to stick with Miami.
All right.
It's just I feel like injuries at the end of this series are going to take a toll on Embiid.
Kyle Lowry is hurt.
Yeah. Oh, for
the Heat.
Ugh.
He's been hurt. He missed Game 1 and 2. And he was noticeably hurting in Game 4. And I believe in Game 3 as well. But he is out for Game 5. If that changes your decision.
I'm going to still stick with the Heat here. I just feel like... isn't James Harden known for being, like, cursed in the playoffs, where he could just never...
Yeah, but he had a good game yesterday. Game 4.
Yeah.
It was yesterday, yeah? I don't remember.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
I think it's because I think
They're
next
playing
one's
tonight, yeah.
So that's every other night.
Yep. No, he had a good game. It's not... I mean, yeah, he has a history of not... He has a history of being anti-clutch.
Yeah.
But, yeah. He's not the same guy he used to be in Houston. He's taken a little bit of a step back, and he's not the number 1 star. He doesn't have to do all of it on his own.
Yeah. I'm still going with the Heat here. I just feel like 76ers are going to come up short.
It's fine.
You're wrong.
That's it?
Yep, that's it. That's all I got.
No elaboration. I love it.
I also have the Heat still. It's just, they've got
You're
a good...
also wrong.
Okay, yeah, I know.
But
I
feel
you'd
like
say that.
the winner of the Bucks and Celtics series, I feel like that team's going to go on to...
I don't know. That team's... Whoever wins that series is going to be real beat up.
Yeah. I just feel like it'd be a shame if neither of those teams went on for a deep run, just because those teams just look so good when they compete against each other.
That's sports for you.
Yeah.
Golden State's a lot better than I thought, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. They have been shooting well recently, and that's a little concerning. But when they're on, they're on. You saw it in Game 3. They shot the lights out. They booted the Grizzlies out of the stadium. It wasn't competitive because they were shooting well. If they are shooting well, no one can compete with them. If they're not shooting well, anyone can beat them. It's tough.
They just got to shoot adequate.
Yeah.
They honestly might beat the Suns. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. The Suns are in a little bit of trouble right now.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Paul seems a little rattled. Devin Booker, he's Devin Booker. He's very good.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're playing against Luka Doncic, you know, you're going to need a little bit of help.
Yeah.
Luka's very good at basketball.
He is very good at basketball.
He's very good at basketball. And they've got a nice little supporting cast there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Brunson's really showed out here. Dorian Finney-Smith, you've never heard of him.
No.
But he's a pretty cool dude. He's been playing very well, too. You know, they've got a nice little thing going. And I'm a little worried about the Suns, honestly.
Yeah. Honestly, the series is a lot closer than it should be, in my opinion.
If the Suns can't turn it around in Game 5, which I believe is tonight, I think they lose. I think if they lose this game, they lose the series.
Yeah. Like I said, Game 5 is such an important game to win, just to have that, like, cushion, and just historically, that's a really important game to win if you want to go on to win the series.
Yeah. Being up 3-2 is a lot easier than being down 3-2.
Yeah. And I was just like,
math.
yeah, I was going off like, yeah, it's just, yes, the math also follows the historic record of what happens in those series.
Right.
So yeah, these best of 3 series. It's nice to know that all across playoffs, there's a lot of close series going on.
It's super fun to watch. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of lame when, like, it just sweeps
Yeah.
all day.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Avalanche. Ruining everything.
Like, I feel like you always have to have that one where it's just like,
No.
all right, well, they're done. And
No,
then
I
it's
want
just-
every series to
yeah.
go 7.
Every series. Always.
Every single one. I want it to be a shock if it doesn't go 7.
I just always like the factor of, like, oh, this team has extra rest. How much would that impact them and stuff like that?
That doesn't always help a team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it takes you out of the rhythm of playing. Like, the other team is fresh out of playing games. They're used to the ebbs and flows of it, while the other team's kind of just been resting. You can't really recreate that game-like scenario.
Exactly. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on them. Update you when we get to when our next show is. I think next week maybe. We'll figure it out. Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, we reached the top of the hour. Thank you so much for listening to the Triple Threat Show on WXJM 88.7 FM, Harrisonburg, Virginia, and WXJM.org. My name is Jeremy Lapidus, host of the Triple Threat Show, joined as always by my 2 friends and co-hosts.
Shane?
And
Hayden Raymer.
also check us out on the YouTube at Triple Threat Show on the YouTube. Yeah.
My laptop's gonna die.
Oh. Okay. Well.
I mean, like, I got 30. I mean, it's gonna die, like, in the last minute.
Hurry
I
up
have
to the
25
YouTube.
minutes remaining.
Hurry up to the YouTube if you want to see Hayden's beautiful face, because he might not be there for much longer.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's do some baseball.
Make it sound like I'm gonna die
I mean, on the screen,
on the screen. I'll just disappear.
yeah,
It's not death.
it'll be disembodied voice. It's basically a ghost.
Oh. Ooh. I was gonna do a Dracula impression, and then I realized.
was
That's
that
a
was that your
vampire.
Dracula?
No, that was not a Dracula. I was gonna do like the. Oh, never mind.
We love that.
I realized he's a vampire, not a ghost.
Mm.
It's been one of those days.
I'm glad he realized
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I've been up since.
Yeah,
6:30.
you've had a long day.
I've been up since 6:30. Cut me some slack.
You get all the slack.
I got all the slack.
Yeah.
I actually did get a message on Slack while we were been in here.
Do you really?
Yeah.
What was it about?
The Nats report guy.
Oh,
He wanted me to read over his article because he doesn't know how to conclude it.
good.
Yeah. So I'll have to do that tonight.
I thought you were relaxing tonight.
Work duty calls, I guess. Anyways,
Baseball.
speaking of the Nats and baseball,
Baseball.
baseball,
Baseball.
Babs ball.
Babs ball. So, there's not a whole lot that's happened in baseball. I mean, obviously stuff has happened because, you know, they play like 5-6 games a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's always something happening. But the big thing that I wanted to talk about today was Robinson Cano,
Ooh.
formerly of the New York Mets, because he got released.
Did he get released?
He got released. Now, Shane,
Yep.
and those of you who don't know, Jeremy probably knows who Robinson Cano
I love
is.
me some Robbie Cano.
Robbie Cano is an old veteran. I believe he's like 39. He's coming off of a year-long PED suspension.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't doing great. He was hitting like 154, had like a 379 slugging. His on-base percentage was like in the 2s. Not a very good offensive year.
No. It's actually pretty bad.
Really bad.
Some might say awful.
Mm-hmm.
And because of shortened spring training, the rosters had 2 extra spots. There was 28. And then on start of May, they shrunk them down to 26. And, you know, teams had to make some cuts. Robinson Cano was one of those cuts. Now, Robinson Cano was under contract for this year and next year with an average annual value on that contract of $24 million.
Yeah, the Mariners signed it to a real big deal.
It sounded a real big deal. He was like one of the last big, like, super deals that people got. Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera is the last one, actually. because this is still ongoing. But anyways, he was one of the last few super mega deals for people in their 30s. I think like their actual money that they're against is $40 million and not 48, but you know, $48 million over the next 2 years against their luxury cap, which is all sorts of fun stuff. They're already over it, so it doesn't really matter. They have Steve Cohen, he's the richest earner in baseball, so I don't think they really care. But you know, I just wanted to get your thoughts, Shane, and Jeremy, obviously.
I mean, if you can afford the dead cap, then might as well cut the guy if he's not producing. That's kind of my thoughts on it.
The Mets are a good team.
Mm-hmm.
They've got enough veteran leadership in that dugout.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need a dude like Robinson Cano. Robinson Cano, obviously, very, very good career, long career.
Yeah.
Maybe a Hall of Famer.
Not anymore. The
Not anymore?
suspension killed it.
But you know, he was on track. He was very, very good on the Yankees for a very long time.
Yeah.
But they didn't need him. They didn't. He's an old vet that wasn't performing. He's probably not the greatest defensive guy you could put out there.
He can still,
but he's an old dude that doesn't have the range probably.
Fair.
You know, if his hitting isn't there, there's not that much value to him. You have, like I said, the veteran leadership that has playoff experience already in that dugout. You got Max Scherzer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of like hitters on that team.
I mean,
with playoff experience, like Starling Marte's got a little bit.
He's got a little bit. They've got a couple dudes that have been to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And don't they still have some people from that Mets team that won or made it to the World Series? Like a couple bench bats, like J.D. Davis.
J.D. Davis is younger. Trying to think of who's their core. No, because like Conforto's gone. I mean, they still have that playoff experience with like Eduardo Escobar. Because you know he was with the Brewers last year. He was with the Diamondbacks. I think the Diamondbacks team was good. He was with the Twins for a while. You know, some decent teams.
I mean, my point is that they don't need his experience.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
Lindor.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
They obviously don't need him.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's not producing, there's cheaper people out there, and there's more effective people out there to have. And if he's not going to be that locker room guy that honestly every team needs, there's no reason to keep him around. It's fine. He's getting old. He's almost 40 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Some team will pick him up.
No.
Some team will pick him up.
I mean, like, veterans who got cut. I'm blanking on his name. Justin Upton of the Angels, the outfielder. He didn't get picked up, and he got cut by the Angels, and he was better. He's better offensively than Robbie Cano right now.
Right.
It's just, I don't know. It's weird seeing like these veterans kind of get cut, like at the end of their contracts and career. I feel like you didn't really see that, you know, 4 or 5 years ago.
Well,
but now
4 or 5 years ago, a lot of these guys were staying on their teams, and it's a team loyalty. It kind of goes hand in hand with people moving around. You know, you're not going to see a guy like Ryan Zimmerman get cut if he ever started underperforming like Cano was this year. Zimmerman was never going to get cut from the Nats, no matter what he did, right? And that's because he was on the Nats. He had built up that loyalty and that trust.
Like,
you know,
Miggy's never going to get cut.
Exactly. If you show your loyalty to a team, the team will, in general, show loyalty to you. You know, if you were good with them, if you were really good with them at some point, they will, in general, stay loyal to you. The Mets didn't have those ties to Cano. You know?
Yeah.
The Angels didn't really have those ties to Justin Upton.
What about Pujols?
Pujols is still on a team.
He's not on the Angels.
Yeah, but he's on the Cardinals.
Yeah, but, you know, he got cut on the last year of his deal, too, you know?
Yeah, but, like, again, he was a Cardinal. He's not an Angel, he's a Cardinal. You know?
Okay.
It goes with players moving around.
And older players, they're just going to get cut once you're older and underperforming. You're like, they
right.
had a good run.
But, yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying is they're not going to get cut if they stayed with one team. You know, if you are good enough to play until you're 39,
Mm-hmm.
you're not getting cut if you're staying on if you're on that one team.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
If you move around, that team doesn't really have the precedent to say we'll keep you around no matter what, you know? Which is why that happened.
Mm-hmm.
If he was still in the Yankees, no way. No way does he get cut there. If he was still in the Yankees.
He gets cut on the Yankees.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's not what I would have thought, but I don't know. It's a byproduct of getting paid elsewhere.
Yeah.
Just
I guess
fine.
so.
It happens.
I still don't think, like, 4 or 5 years ago, this would have happened.
No?
No. No way.
The Mets are much more of a contender now than they were 4 or 5 years ago.
I mean, that's not, like, the part that I mean. I mean, like, I feel like there was, like, a whole, like, a kind of, like, a respect, you know? Because, like, without the PED suspensions, Robinson Cano's had a Hall of Fame career, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he gets cut, like, 4 or 5 years ago because of that respect for that player, you know? Kind of like, you want him there. The same thing with Pujols. Like, 4 or 5 years ago, you don't cut that kind of player. Because you remember how everyone was so shocked when Pujols got cut?
Were they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because it was, like, seen as, like, disrespectful
Oh.
to, like, his legacy. To, like, cut him like that. I don't
I
know.
mean-
It's one of those baseball unwritten rules things, I feel like.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. But at the same time, it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not helping the business, you got to go.
Fair.
Right? It's the cold hard truth about
Mhm.
any sport, really. But I mean, they gave Cano a chance. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like they were just like, get out of here day one.
Mm-hmm.
They kept him around for what, a month ish?
A month, yeah.
Yeah, and he proved that he wasn't able to help them. So they were like, you got to go. It happens. It's sports.
Do you think the Phillies cut Harper if he, like, at the end of his contract?
Depends how bad he's performing.
Yeah. Depends what he does for the rest of, what does he have, 6 years left? 8 years left?
He signed, what, a 13-year deal?
Yeah, something like that. He's
So-
got 10 years left or so.
Yeah.
I thought it was 9 for some reason.
9, 10, it's the same.
Yeah. Anyway, it depends what he does for
Mhm.
this middle part of his career, you know? He wins another MVP? No. He falls off a table after this season? Yeah.
Okay.
You know, he's been a Philly for, I don't know, just about as long as he was a Nat now. Maybe a
Little
bit
bit.
shorter.
3 more years, and then he'll.
I mean,
be
but
the
he'll
same
get
amount.
there. That's no doubt.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. If he falls off a cliff before he gets to that amount of years, or probably even more than that, he's going to need. It's one of those things. I don't know. I don't know how the Phillies front office would look at it. You know, because they were pretty loyal to their team. And that kind of led to their downfall. So they
Mhm.
might not. They might be.
I mean, I don't even view Harper as a national anymore.
I don't either.
Like, he's synonymous with this Phillies team.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like you can't. I don't know. So it's like going back to, like, the moving around thing. And that's
Yeah.
why I brought him up, was because he did move to them.
Right.
And, you know, it's just.
A guy like Cano is on his third team, fourth team, at least. He's on at least his third team.
Yeah.
He was Yankees, Mariners, Mets. You know, he didn't have any loyalty with the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe on the Mariners he doesn't get cut. I don't know.
Yeah,
Probably.
they don't have a second baseman really
Yeah.
right now. So their second baseman's Adam Frazier. So
But you know, it's situational
Mhm.
and it's business. You know, it's one of those things. Harper probably doesn't get cut because he's won an MVP with the Phillies.
mhm.
You know, he didn't.
Fair.
People think of him as a Philly now.
He's done that.
It's one of those things.
One of those things. All right, but yeah. Next, I wanted to talk about some players who are really good right now.
Yeah.
First off, I want to talk about this guy named Wander Franco. Not sure if you ever heard of him.
No, I don't think I have.
One of the things I find so impressive is like how good he's been since he's come up to the big leagues, because this is his like third, fourth month in the big leagues now, and you know he's one of the best players in the American League, and we see guys who like Kalanick or Julio Rodriguez or Spencer Torkelson, like none of these guys have been good since they've come up really, and you know Wander Franco has just been super good.
Shane is heading out.
Yeah, Shane's heading out. Bye, Shane. Good luck on your
Good
final.
luck on your final,
I
Shane.
will see you
Thank you
guys
for joining us.
Somewhere around like 8-ish.
All right, have fun.
Love you.
Anyway, Shane is gone.
Shane is gone. He's left us.
If you weren't at the YouTube, you didn't get to see Shane, but now you get a better angle of me.
Better angle of you. Wow, it's just
It's straight instead of sideways.
we can just look
Yeah.
at the camera.
It's great.
Right.
Anyway, Spencer Torkelson is on. Wander Franco, Spencer Torkelson.
Yeah, Wander Franco's just been really good.
Yeah.
You know, he's not a rookie anymore, but he's still like a young player, and we've seen like a lot of guys come up and not be good. You know, locally, you know, you would think Carter Keyboom, Luis Garcia, you know, I named Torkelson and Julio Rodriguez and Kelnick because they're, you know, top prospects, like top prospects. But I don't know, it's really impressive. Good job, you know, Wander Franco. And then in the National League, you know, I'm not sure if you know about this guy named Dalton Varsho, Jeremy.
I don't.
You don't know about Dalton Varsho?
I don't.
Okay, so Dalton Varsho came up as a catcher, right? But there's this guy named Carson Kelly back there who's pretty good. You know, he's not like the best in the league, but he's a top 10 catcher in the league. So like, you know what, we need to play him somewhere else. So they sought him out in center field. You know, as you do with a catcher.
Of course.
And you know, he just plays good defense and rakes. You know, he's what is it? I'm looking. He's fourth in F4 in the National League, tied with C.J. Cron. You know, he's having a good year.
Yeah.
You know, he just walks a lot, doesn't strike out, he's for good power. You know, just a really good player. Not enough people talk about.
Yeah. Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. He's a Diamondback. That's probably why.
Yeah, that would be part of it.
Why,
Yeah.
But you know, I just think it's really cool. You know that he's a catcher.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that a couple times. Catchers being moved out to
Other positions. But you know, usually it's like third base, first base, not center field.
Not center field, no.
You know, shortstop was like kind of like whoa with Isaiah Canal-Falefa.
Yep.
And then, you know, now you got Dalton Varsho in center field, which I think is a little bit like you need a bit more range there, in my opinion.
You need so much range.
You need so much range.
Yeah. You need the most range, actually.
The most range, yeah. And he's a catcher.
Yeah. That's super impressive.
My computer died.
Oh.
I just watched it die in front of me. It was kind of sad.
Rip Hayden.
Rip me.
It's just me, guys.
You can just full screen now.
I'm going to full screen now.
Yeah. Did you turn off Shane's mic?
I did turn off Shane's mic.
Good job.
What do you think I am, a not professional?
But yeah, that's all I really had for baseball, Jeremy.
Yeah?
We got 14 minutes left for our last show on
I have a question for you.
WXJM. What's up?
It's about football.
It's about football. Okay.
Because there's not much going on in football.
There's not.
There's
Whatever happened with the investigation into...
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet? Okay. I've been meaning to ask you, but I
Yeah.
figured I'd wait to ask you on air.
Yeah, there's nothing yet there. It's something's gonna come of it. They're probably gonna get fined.
Is something gonna come of it?
Maybe.
Maybe? Okay.
Maybe. I would hope so.
Mm-hmm.
It's a federal crime. It's not just messing with the NFL. It's actually a federal crime.
Fraud.
You know, it's something that probably should be dealt with.
Yeah.
So, maybe. But yeah, the NFL. First of all, James Bradbury was cut. Giants cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
He's very, very good. The Giants could not trade him because, you know, he's got paid a lot of money. The Giants need to clear cap so they could sign their rookies.
Why him, if he's so good?
It's clears up cap space. I don't know exactly why
But
him.
I'm sure there's someone
that,
worse.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I think
That's-
there's someone that's more expendable. You know.
It sounds like this guy has value.
I like him a lot. He's very good. I'm surprised we couldn't trade him for a 7th. And I know it's a lot of salary to dump into another team. It's $10 million against the cap.
Trade him to the Coyotes.
I think that would eat up their entire salary cap. $10 million.
Isn't it like 80 in hockey?
I mean, yeah.
80, 90?
Yeah, but the NFL is 200. So,
No, you gotta think a team would take that salary.
Yeah,
on.
I mean, and it's obviously a salary dump because they would keep him if they could. But I'm just a little surprised that they couldn't really even get a 7th for him.
Yeah.
They obviously wanted more, but they
You
just
really
cut him.
overrate him. That's the issue.
He's very good.
Mm.
He's been a Pro Bowl 2 years in a row.
Nah.
Okay. Fine.
It's not real.
That's fine with me. But yeah, that's the big news. A conversation.
A conversation.
Coming out of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas? Sorry. Excuse me. Texas is like, yo, NFL.
Mm-hmm.
We want a new football team.
They want another one.
Yeah. Where do you think they want it?
Where do the Texans
Houston
play?
and Dallas right now.
Oh, that's right. It's Houston, Texans. They want it. My first guess would be Austin because it's like the capital, but
And that honestly, very good guess. My guess, San Antonio or Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where do they
Solid
want it?
guesses. They want it in Dallas.
There were 2 teams in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It's not unheard of because, first of all, there's 2 teams in LA.
Yeah.
There's 2 teams in New York. Dallas is now the 3rd largest city,
mm-hmm.
metropolitan area behind New York and LA.
Yeah.
Dallas is like, yo, give me another football team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the NFL is not expanding because, first of all, how would 33 teams work?
I mean, you would have to find another team.
Okay, how would 34 teams work in the setup they have?
You would just have one big conference or division. I mean,
could do
baseball's going to expand.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the way there's only 17 games in the NFL, and you play your division twice. So if 2 divisions play 8 games against rivals and all the other play 6, the schedule's not going to match up. You know,
you would have to change the way the schedule
you would have to change the way the schedule is, or you'd have to add 8 teams at once. Which that's not happening.
Super expansion.
Super expansion, yeah.
I mean, you could just have a team relocate. They relocate all the time, you know?
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
They do. They've been relocating recently, but they're not going to relocate. Honestly, I haven't heard a lot of buzz around a relocation.
I'm trying to think of what team.
Jacksonville might go to London.
Dallas.
No one's going to Dallas.
The Dallas Jaguars.
No one.
Rolls off the tongue.
It does. It really does.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
So what you do, Jeremy,
What do we do?
is you absorb what's the one with the fun uniforms that you showed us?
The USFL?
You absorb it.
There are 8 teams in that league.
You buy them. You buy all of them. And now you have,
8 more teams.
8 more teams right
Mhm.
there. And you
Yeah.
already have a full roster. It's wild.
That would not be fair.
It would be so fair.
You're right. It would be so fair because they would all go. They'd all lose all the games they played except against each other.
And those would be the highlights of their fan schedules.
Yeah, it would.
Well, obviously you would have an expansion draft too, to supplement those rosters.
There's not enough people in the NFL to have 8 teams do an expansion draft.
They got practice squads and 200 people on each roster. They'll be fine.
They only have 53.
253, same number.
And then you're giving 8 teams 53 players.
No, you're not.
Okay, what are
You're
you
giving
doing?
them 12.
That's not going to work.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I love your optimism.
Thank you. Colin Kaepernick is back in the NFL.
You're right. Colin Kaepernick back in the NFL. Yeah.
He's the QB for the
For the
Las
who?
Vegas Gamblers.
They're in Houston.
Is it the Houston Gamblers?
It is the Houston Gamblers.
Oh,
It's a good guess, though. That was really
Las
close.
Vegas?
Yeah,
Like,
that's a good one.
that is a good one.
Anyway.
You can use that XFL or whatever football. There's like 800 football leagues now, so
Yeah, there's like 3.
803, same number.
You're right. You're
Same
right.
number.
You're right.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's about it for the NFL.
That's about
Like,
it for the
there's
NFL.
not much going on. Oh, Tom Brady is joining the booth.
While playing?
No, when he retires.
Okay.
It came out today that he is going to join Fox when he retires.
So in 3 years. Maybe.
Maybe.
3 years.
I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know when he retires. It's quite a mystery.
He'll retire when he physically cannot play anymore. And
He's nowhere close to that.
no. It's because like I read that like he hit up like Ichiro for like his like training program.
Mhm.
So he's gonna play forever.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
I
gonna
will
play.
have a kid before Tom Brady retires. And I'm not planning on having a kid anytime soon.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
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 Yeah. Although they were talking about that if he misses the playoffs, he might go to the booth for the playoffs.
Okay.
First of all, he's not missing the playoffs, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But that might be a little fun thing. Who
Yeah.
knows? I'm excited to see him in the booth. It also came out that he's made $300 million in his playing career, which I thought would be more.
I mean, it's a salary cap sport.
He's played
though.
for 20 years.
Oh, true. I forget that. I forget Tom Brady's been playing as long as I've been alive.
Yeah, he's been in the league for 20 years. A little more than 20 years, actually, like 22.
So Tom Brady, right,
Yeah.
has been playing in the NFL longer than the Mariners' playoff drought, is what you're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's tied together, you know? Like Tom Brady's what's keeping the Mariners.
Or
out of
just
playoffs.
as long, actually. I think that was his rookie season.
Was 2001?
Yeah.
Okay. He's tied.
Yeah.
He has to officially retire.
Does he?
He needs to stop playing for the Mariners to make the playoffs.
Good luck convincing him to do that.
I will beg.
You got a question for us, Hayden?
You see, I didn't, but then
Yeah.
we talked about Tom Brady
Okay.
and me having a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeremy,
Okay.
what should I name my kid? You get to name my child.
I thought you already figured this out.
Listen, I was doing some thinking, and Bartholomew the Third might get picked on in school. So, yeah. What should I name my kid?
It's a loaded question.
That's a great question.
I'm trying to think of something to go with good with Raymer,
Uh-huh.
and I can't.
You can't.
Uh,
Not even Hayden.
no, Hayden's a good one. I'm not giving him your name.
Hayden Jr.
No. I mean, you can, I guess.
I could. I'm gonna name all my kids Hayden. It's the only thing that goes with it well. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
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 Name him Shane.
Name him Shane.
Mhm.
Shane Raymer.
It's not bad. It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. Could be better.
Could be worse.
Could be worse.
Could be so much worse.
But that's gonna be like, that's gonna be hard because like then I'm naming them after their other dad, and it's just
Hayden. Hayden.
or
Yeah.
their ex-dad. There's I don't know.
Yeah.
We gotta get like 7 divorces, so
Mhm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
figured marry Shane for FAFSA purposes, and then
Of course.
adopt a kid, and then get divorced. You know,
Right. Sure.
yeah. Have that kid come from a broken home.
That sounds like an awesome plan.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're setting your child up for success.
I mean, if it worked out for me, I'm here.
You are here. You're right.
I am here. I don't like the way you said that. I'm gonna be honest.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean, Jeremy.
I don't know what you mean.
You don't know what I mean? All right, Jeremy, what's brainstorm. Let's brainstorm a better question.
Okay.
Brainstorm a better question here.
If you were a bird,
if I was a bird,
what bird would you be?
What bird would I be? I would be,
What bird would you be?
a penguin.
A penguin? Why?
Because, I don't know, I feel like sliding down on the snow on my stomach would be really fun.
That would be fun.
And I would get eaten by a killer whale, like, immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as I touch the water.
The second they're just waiting there.
I just jump right into its mouth. I didn't even realize. What bird would you be?
See, that's a loaded question.
That's a loaded question.
Because we've reached the end of our show.
You gotta come up with a bird right now.
No, we've reached the end
Name
of our show.
Name a bird.
Can't. I don't know any birds. Anyway, this is the Triple Threat Show on WXJM 88.7 FM, Harrisonburg, Virginia, and WXJM.org, and also on the YouTubes at Triple Threat Show. Go check us out over the summer. Hopefully everyone had a really good semester, and we will be back next semester at some time.
I don't know. We haven't figured that out
We
yet.
haven't figured the time out yet. I'd be a swan.
Be a swan, okay.
Yeah, it's a good bird.
Good bird, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, really appreciate everyone listening.
Yeah, have a good summer.
Have a good summer. We wish you all well. Signing off for me, Jeremy Lapidus, Shane, and
Hayden Raymer.
We will see you in a little bit. Good night.
The powerhouse of the Shenandoah Valley, 88.7
Okay, let me stop the YouTube stream.
Harrison.